Yo, what's going on? It is the Showtime Forum post game. Lakers win game one. Dominant win. You guys already see my boy Chaz is in the building. Handled business tonight. We have plenty to talk about. I told Chaz right before we got on, man, like I ain't doing no titles or nothing. We want to focus in on you guys. We want to hear from our boy. Once again, let's just give a clap up for trusting the prophet today. For our boy, once again, calling it. He called it. Listen, he called it last week. He called it today. I had to text him in the first quarter when we were down by 13. I got nervous. Chaz,
what I tell you?
Call me
what did I tell you?
Listen, I was with everybody else.
Tell the people what you asked me, what my prediction was, and what I told you word for word.
I said, "What's the prediction?" He said, Lakers in 4, and I said 4, and he said 4, and then we were down by 13, and I said, "Man, I don't think 4 gonna happen." I said it looks much more like 6. But then, as soon as I said that, it was a wrap. As soon as I said that, it was a wrap. It was almost like Chaz had the Buffalo Wild Wings button. It was hitting it. It was like, nah, we're going to change the game right now. And it happened.
Nah, like it's like an old Chevy, like if it's in good shape and it's well taken care of, it may take a little bit of time for it to get going. But once it gets going and that thing start humming, man, we were like a well-oiled machine tonight. We just couldn't be stopped. You got Dwight dropping off multiple passes to AD under the basket. You got Rondo coming in and setting AD up and just getting great energy off the ball for LeBron, setting LeBron up for dunks. LeBron's energy was off the chain tonight. I mean,
absolutely.
Even the 2 points that didn't count with the reverse dunk at the end of the first quarter, he was just showing you, like, it's gamesmanship. It's bigger than just all the points and all the stats that come inside of the lines. Like, this is a team in the Miami Heat that you want to beat not only up here, but in here as well. So you got to take their will immediately, early. And that's essentially what the Lakers did, and just punish them on the boards. And, I mean, look, guys, no disrespect. And props to Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero, but you can't have Duncan Robinson guarding LeBron James on switches multiple times. It's just it's not going to win you a championship. That's for sure. And that's what I kept noticing. If anybody that is on here follows me, you'll see that you have Duncan Robinson guarding LeBron James going to the basket. So they were outmanned, outgunned, and here's one thing I want to let it be known as well. The Lakers were up by 20 before Goran Dragic went out the game. The Lakers were up 30 points before Bam Adebayo bumped shoulders with Dwight, and he initiated that contact, actually. Yep. Dwight didn't initiate that contact, but Bam initiated that contact on a shoulder that he knows that he strained in the last round, and, luckily x-rays were negative for him. I'm not sure about Goran. We'll see what ends up happening, but the Lakers were already up 20 and 30 points when they went out of the game. So, and the Lakers were down by 13 points. And Mike Breen said it was a 45-point swing at one point because the Lakers went up by at most 32, and the Lakers were down by those 13 same points that I just mentioned. So, overall, just great performance from top to bottom. I'd really say the Lakers didn't even play their best.
No.
Really.
Mm-mm. No.
Like, the Lakers still have yet to we have yet to see a full A to B game from the Lakers since game one against the Denver Nuggets. Or even, what is that, game 4 against the Houston Rockets as well. So they literally won this game from the 6-minute mark of the first quarter through midway through the fourth quarter. because Kendrick Nunn came in and had 15 points in 15 minutes, and that's not going to happen again. I'll tell you
No,
that, especially
no.
with Goran Dragic possibly not playing, being ready to play in the next 48 hours. It looks like he broke his foot. I may be wrong. I hope I'm wrong,
Every
but it looks like
everything I've been reading has been saying an Achilles injury. So
didn't look like it. It looked like
it
he may have
did.
broken or sprained his foot, but that's just my guess. I'm not a doctor, but just based off of seeing injuries, knowing injuries, and
Yeah.
just the awkward way that he stepped, it just looked like had a bone that probably just cracked,
Yeah, or
hairline
something. Cause,
fracture maybe.
and they're saying that he's probably going to be out for the rest of the series, which to me is
Really?
yeah, which is not too crazy because Cedric Nunn or Kendrick Nunn, I'm sorry, was actually the starter until they got to the playoffs, and of
He
course
was rookie
Nunn.
of the month for the first 3 months of the season.
And you saw why for about 15 minutes. But you said it. Once the Lakers know who they're going to go against, they're going to go back into the film room, plan for Nunn, and then they're going to make sure they don't let him get open. One of the things that I loved seeing in this game, you speaking about LeBron James and his energy, was the Lakers were up by 17. There was like 3 minutes left. There was a missed defensive assignment that left Nunn wide open, and you verbally heard him, audibly heard him, yelling at his teammates for
That's
missing
a
assignments.
switch.
That's a
That's a
switch.
switch.
And this is the difference in leadership. This is not to downplay anybody else, but this is the kind of stuff you need because when those kind of things get pointed out, when you're up by 17 and there's only a few minutes left and your superstar is still in the game, and he's saying, listen, y'all need to. He's trying to keep them engaged and help them understand that you can't lose 30-point leads simply because you just don't feel like playing anymore. That's
Right.
not going to win championships. And having that level of leadership is different. Now I want to point this out because one thing that you talked about was Bam, and you talked about Goran. But I want to just point out the basketball gods, right? So we saw the dirty play by Crowder in the middle of all of that, the upheaval going on trying to get the ball. It was a long, like 35 seconds worth of trying to get this loose ball. And
It was
you
good
saw the
effort.
replay.
Loved it from both teams.
Loved it. What I didn't love was Jay Crowder grabbing LeBron's arm and trying to pull it back. And as we saw, after the scuffle was over, LeBron's trying to get up and he's working with his shoulder and his shoulder's hurting. Ever since that happened, you saw injury after injury happening to the Heat. I'm telling you, the basketball gods don't like dirty play. If you're gonna win,
Yeah.
if you're gonna compete. But doing stuff like that will never, ever, ever go unnoticed. And there's plenty of replays. I'm sure they're gonna talk about it in other post game shows and probably even tomorrow. But that to me was a difference maker. And I said it. I tweeted it. I said Crowder may have cost them the series by doing something crazy like that. Because if Bam can't go full 100%, and Jimmy Butler's already he hurt his same ankle twice in the same game.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler's not able to go as hard. I don't know what the Heat are going to do for the rest of this series. It was
Lose.
already loses it. That's what they're going to do.
Lose.
That's what
That's
they're
it.
going to do. Annika Mohan says this. She says, dominant win. Now, you said it earlier. The Lakers did not play their best, but would you consider this a dominant win? Does the point total say it all?
Absolutely. It's just the will of the team overall. You just couldn't get anything.
Yeah.
There was just a point where the Lakers, I believe, went on like a 71-23 run at one point, like in the game. Like just locked down Miami from every. I mean, they shot the ball great, and I tweeted out they're going to cool off at some point, right? You can't shoot 75% for an entire game. I mean, maybe you can, but it's not going to be consistent. And overall, that's just work. They weren't able to do that for the entire game. And the Lakers shot well early and continued to shoot well. They cooled off a little bit as well, but their defense is what propped them up and was able to, create that 32-point lead that they had at one point in the game. I was going to say that this wasn't a series for Dwight Howard. JaVale, for sure, he didn't play tonight. He likely won't play in the series. But Dwight is, it's kind of iffy on that. I think we might even be better off without having Dwight. But Dwight's in there to, bring energy and have some good fouls and play hard. And we won the game. So, he'll get the start for next game. But I just could see the versatility that we have on defense and with Anthony Davis. And by him being the 5, Markieff Morris at the 4, LeBron at the 3, Caruso and Kuzma at the 1 and 2, or even swapping out with Danny Green.
Yep.
Very, very proud of Danny Green as well. Got his lip busted, his tooth, busted or whatever, but played hard, got great plays, made some great shots, and shot the ball well. So overall, Danny Green was 4 of 9 overall, 3 of 8 from 3-point range, and was second in the team and had plus 21, 11 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals. So played a great game. I love that. That's why you pay Danny Green $15 million. He had a 3 that was just off of one of those crazy loose ball plays like you were talking about, where the ball just kind of found him and he pump faked and then recocked in the same motion and drilled it. So
Different.
I expect more of the same in the next game because we know what we're capable of now. Yeah. So at this point, it's they're going to bring hellfire and brimstone in the next game.
Yeah.
Assuming Goran and Bam can play, but even if without those guys, even if they're not 100%, I saw how pissed Udonis Haslem was on the bench. He's going to get those guys ready to play in 48 hours. So no one said. Now here's the thing as well. I know I'm kind of rambling, but things are coming up at the same time as I'm speaking, and we'll get to the comments. But I just got to get some things off my chest because everybody's saying like, "Oh, how could you pick the Lakers in 4 games, 5 games?" I think it's going to be more like 6, like you said, and another friend texted me as well.
Yep.
No. I mean, another guy, literally right at the same time as you texted me that, somebody else texted me that, and he was like, "Hey, man, I wasn't going to say anything to you on Twitter, but Amin Elhassan, blame it on Amin Elhassan because he was talking big stuff on the radio this morning on Sedano. Was it Sedano and LZ? No, they weren't on today. I forgot what.
It might have been the Jump. Wasn't he on the Jump too, wearing sunglasses?
No, it was Amin. It was Amin, and no. He was on. I forgot. He was on 710. That's for sure.
Okay.
But he was just talking big stuff, and he picked the Heat in 6. And it had a lot to say, pretty much, about Caruso, Danny Green, Kuzma. I'd really like to see what he has to say tonight. But like when I picked the Lakers in 4 games, or the notion of even 5 games as well, it's not to say that all those games are going to be easy, right? The Lakers beat everybody that they played this series or this postseason in 5 games. That doesn't mean it was easy.
Exactly.
So it's going to be. However many games it is, it's going to be tough, hard-fought games. I can guarantee you the Lakers won't win by this many points in another game for the rest of the season. Realistically, I thought the Lakers would win by 6 or 8, not 18. So,
yeah, man,
we'll see what happens. But that's the thing. I got at this point, I got the Lakers in a sweep, and
we might have lost him. I think we might have lost him. We might have lost the prophet. Well, listen, while I'm getting him back. Oh, is he back? He's back. All right, he's back. Maybe. Chaz, are you back? Chaz ain't back. All right, I'm going to come back to him in just a second. Let me get to some of these comments. 3 more to go. No mercy. No complacency. That's coming from Anakat Mohan. Chaz, if you can hear me, man, it's cutting in and out on your side. You're freezing on us. James Michael, job not done. I think LeBron is saving energy at times, so Lakers lost lead. And I don't even think there's so much about LeBron and his energy or any of that stuff. I think it had far more to do with just guys taking their foot off the gas. Okay, we have Chaz back right now. Let me get him back in here while I have him. So I think it was far more about the rest of the team than it was actually LeBron or any of that stuff. Heat will come out firing the next game. Got to be wary. And listen, this is the part, and Chaz, we're talking just about how the Heat are going to come out in Game 2. But this is why you have veteran leadership, right? Veteran leadership will not let this team take it easy, okay? They had Madden tournaments and had all that fun, and that was great. That was fantastic. But now you're in the finals, and you're 3 games away from the actual goal. This is where the job is actually going to be finished in 3 games, or in 3 wins. So at this point, they're gonna go back to the film room probably tonight. They're probably gonna go back to the film room first thing tomorrow all day. and they're going to be studying film and studying and studying and studying. And I think that's going to be the difference in how they prepare. Now, I will say this: I don't care how much they prepare. One thing we do know is that, as far as I'm concerned, there is nobody on earth that's going to stop this man, Anthony Davis. Okay,
No.
that's what we learned. That's what we learned tonight. And listen, it wasn't even like he was doing crazy stuff. He was just in the right place at the right time. He had the chemistry is on. You're seeing extra passes in the paint. How many times did you see people get in the paint and Anthony Davis would be cutting baseline and getting just the easy dunk? That is a sign of not only energy with the ball and the fluidity of the ball, but it also shows that Anthony Davis knows exactly where he needs to be to make the right play. His teammates are looking for him. He's coming for the ball. And by the time he gets it, there's nothing they can do about it. 34 points tonight. Now, here's my question. What do we expect from Anthony Davis for the next game? Are we expecting him to be as dominant on the offensive end, or do you think it's going to be a little bit more spread around for the rest of the team?
32, 11, and 6. I mean, AD is going to be great every single game this series. At this point, like, I hate to sound like that Laker homer, but like there's nothing that I saw from Miami that's going to prove to me that the Lakers are going to lose 4 games by this team. There's literally not a single thing. They threw the zone at him. They threw man at him. They shot the ball 65% for a period of the game. They had a 13-point lead. I mean, they played as good. They had the best start that you possibly could have in the NBA Finals. They had, and they just couldn't sustain it.
Yeah.
And the Lakers didn't even play their best ball. And they don't even have Avery Bradley out there.
The biggest excuse that everybody was saying is the reason why we were not favored was because of Avery Bradley not being in the lineup, and obviously it didn't make a difference. Now, I will say this. This is something that was bothering me, and I want to get your thoughts on this because there's some more comments. Now, in the beginning, in the first half, I got a little worried because our three-point shot was falling. We were shooting above, I think it was above 55% at one point from 3, and we were killing them from 3. And then the second half, we regressed to the mean. We missed the first 13 three-point shots, and then we kind of made a couple after that. So I did like seeing the fact that we were able to keep and sustain a lead even when the shots weren't falling from the three-point in the second half. My question is, what do you expect from the Lake Show going into next game? Because a lot of that run had to do with those three-point shots as well as the aggressiveness of AD. So are we looking for the Lakers to continue the hot streak from the three-point? Are we looking them to stay right around the 30% that they normally are in the playoff bubble?
They'll play. I mean, what did they shoot tonight from 3? They shot
Almost
39.
40. Yeah.
Almost 40. We said on the last post game they've been hovering around between 38 and 40%. Even if they shoot 35, the difference in the game isn't really the shooting. They're gonna shoot 35+% from the 3-point line overall. They're just going to. I think I'd like to hope, because that's what they've been doing all series long and all playoffs long.
Yeah.
What really won this game for them is that they won the rebounding battle by 18.
Whew. That's insane.
Miami had more points in the paint, 46-38, but the Lakers had, only 3 more assists and only and we had 12 turnovers to their 8. I mean, but we shot free throws. They shot 11 of 14. We shot 25 of 27. So we were the aggressor. We got to the line.
Yeah.
We shot a better overall field goal percentage because we got good looks at the rim. AD hitting dunks, Dwight Howard, LeBron James. I mean, but overall, what's going to win you the game is when you get extra possessions and you're able to get second chance points and you're able to, manufacture, large leads by going on runs, multiple runs during the game. So
yeah.
I don't anticipate another game like this, kind of like in the last series where we blew out Denver, and we were up, 20-something points on them and ended up blowing. I mean, won the game by like 8 or whatever. The final score not indicative of, the actual beating that we gave out to these teams. But I anticipate a closer game and for the rest of the series. And just hopefully these guys aren't injured, just so that way the narrative isn't, oh, you went up against a team that got injured and Goran Dragic couldn't play. And that's the last thing I want. So I want these guys to play. Even nobody's going to be 100% at this point. It's the bubble. The guys have been playing playoff games for what, 2 months now? Over
Yeah,
2 months?
they're plus 80
Uh,
days so far on the bubble.
yeah, but what I'm talking about, the actual playoff run itself is
Oh,
what it started August 17th. I mean, it's going on 2 months. We're 2 months away from that by the end of the series. This series is going to be over in a week.
it will.
So
Real quick, I have Woj is just giving us an update on Dragic. He has suffered a plantar tear of the left foot.
gone.
He has been able to put pressure on his left foot and hasn't ruled out returning to play in the NBA Finals, but
He's
obviously he won't be in tomorrow. I mean on Friday. So
I mean, even if he plays, he's not. He's going to be a shell of himself. So you might as well just get Kendrick Nunn in there because he showed you some good minutes early.
yeah,
Like you don't want to play Goran Dragic with a torn plantar. Was that a plantar fascia? Plantar fascia, you said?
yeah. It looks like yep, torn left foot.
Yeah. So I mean, because he's able to put some pressure on it means that it's not all the way torn, right? All the way through.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
probably a slight tear or a pretty significant tear. But either way, he's not going to be 100%. Kendrick Nunn showed them to put up some good minutes, and I anticipate we'll see Kendrick Nunn for the remainder of the series. I don't think he'll start, but he'll obviously be helping out with those minutes, and obviously you'll see probably Derek Jones and Olynyk get more playing time as well, with Bam not being 100% either.
Which, and to be honest with you, I just, and somebody put this on Twitter. They said, Dragic being out is the difference between the Lakers sweeping and the Lakers winning in 5. As much as
Great point. Whoever said that.
Yeah, I think that's the obvious point. Is that I think the reason why you want them to play is exactly what you said. Is that what the narrative could end up being. If they're not playing, when the truth is that that's not really what's happening, right? What's happening is the Lakers are far too dominant. They win on the glass. LeBron James is crazy. AD is probably going to be MVP, and that's the next question I was going to ask you. People are saying, does today kind of set the tone? Is Anthony Davis probably going to be the Finals MVP?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. He's okay with that. This is. I mean, it's LeBron's show, but LeBron's not going to be around forever. So LeBron has to start setting up Anthony Davis to be that guy, the guy, and instilling in him. And you've seen it all year long. and even with Anthony Davis in his last interview yesterday, talking about how LeBron gives him tips and tricks and things of that nature to be able to stay on the court more and finish games. And even though he's hurt, be able to play through that and mentally lock in and things of that nature. So very important for AD to get the torch passed. And I wouldn't. I mean, if he continues to average 30 plus in the finals, I mean, it's going to be hard not to give it to him unless LeBron is just averaging a triple double, and he damn near got one tonight. He was an assist away. I think he was pretty mad at either Caruso or KCP for
Caruso. Well, KCP messed up because he had that turnover out of bounds.
Yeah, that too. So he pretty much had a triple double. But I mean, LeBron's going to average. He got 25, 13, and 9 tonight, and shot over 50% from the field. So it's kind of like take your pick.
Yeah.
Like AD has more points, but LeBron does more. Because he's getting rebounds as well. He had more rebounds than AD, and twice as many assists as AD. So it's kind of take your pick. I'd give it to him because he is the MVP. Like we know, like AD knows that LeBron's the best player on the floor, right? Like even though AD may put up better numbers, so he knows that. But either way, I don't care. They don't care. We just want the ring.
Just want the ring. I'm gonna speed through these because we got a lot of them for you. Well, this is a comment from Monica Mohan. Prophet Chaz never gets it wrong, does it? Does he? He called this dub. Absolutely.
I'm not right. I'm not right yet, but
I mean, but let's just be honest. Everything you've said so far has come true, so we have no reason to doubt you. Your trend is good with us. Chris Finn on Periscope says, "Will we see more of JaVale? Heat obviously struggle with the size of the Lakers. I would amend that. Not more of JaVale. Are we going to see JaVale at all in this series? You think? I think you already answered that.
Damn, we saw Dudley before we saw JaVale this series,
and Quinn Cook, who hit a 3.
Nasty 3 from like 32 feet out. It was great.
Yeah. D100 said Lakers in 5. Come on, 3 to go. So D100 still thinks that there's going to be a game that they lose. Do you think that's possible?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Even
absolutely.
With the injuries.
It's still the NBA. Yes, it's still the NBA. Like, I don't see. I mean, I don't see Pat Riley going out and Eric Spoelstra ending with a sweep, but like you like kind of like how you're talking about the basketball gods, like certain things may break in your favor, right? Some things may not go in your favor and some things may break in your favor.
Yeah.
2015, Kyrie Irving and his knee going out, I believe he torn his something in his knee, I believe it was, and he was done for the series. And Kevin Love, had I don't know if it was, I think it was that same year that he had his shoulder popped out of place. So LeBron was just working with Tristan Thompson and Dellavedova, and still took that game or that series to 6 games and lost the series and pretty much could have been the MVP of that series, but Iguodala was. But that was something that didn't break his way.
Yeah.
And then Kevin Durant going to the Warriors and beating him twice, sweeping him once. Something that didn't break in his favor. This might break in his favor, and he might be able to get his sweep in the finals back. So that way they say, oh, he got swept in the finals, but he also did some sweeping in the finals as well. So that, I mean, it could come back to him. So we'll see.
We will see. Lakers, this is Blake St. Clair, one of our harshest critics. I'm always playing with you, man. Lakers front court advantage too much for the Heat. They have had, I should say, the guard advantage, but our advantage far outweighs theirs. This is the first game where I've seen Kuzma play where he didn't score but still impacted the game. I actually did not like the way Kuzma played at certain points, but he's right. He did have an impact on the game tonight. He was a plus 11, had 3 points by hitting basically 1 3. He missed 6 of his shots.
I like the pass to AD early in the first half. I love that.
And he had 8
rebounds. He shoots that last year and the year before.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely he does that. Yeah, he's trigger happy. KCP got us going with those 2 3s, so we can talk about that. Lakers being down, and then KCP coming back and just doing what he needed to do for that section of time. He didn't really do as much beyond that. But he did hit those 2 3s that kind of got the momentum going as we started building towards the comeback when we were down by 13. So my question for you with KCP is, what do you expect for him going into the following games? Do you expect more point production out of him? Are you expecting him to just do the clutch shot thing where we need an energy going, or do you think he's just going to kind of fluctuate back and forth?
Do it all. He's obviously compromised. Something's up with him. So we'll see whatever it is on the injury report. But do whatever it is you can. Whatever it is you can. Whether it be fly around, you get deflections, make threes, get loose balls, make free throws, get rebounds, whatever it is. I mean, I expect a whole lot of effort from everybody, and I liked what I saw. Even like you said, even without Kuz scoring, still impacting the game. Even without KCP having a great game, still impacted the game. He hit 2 clutch threes to get the Lakers going in that first quarter, and that pretty much turned the momentum around and got us going in the right direction. So KCP did his job. Danny Green, Dwight Howard, everybody that played did their job tonight, even Kuz.
Love it. This is our team by 24K Petty. Hamad says, outstanding performance. Just keep fighting. Never lose the rhythm. Job still not done. Let's go. I love it. Black Mamba jerseys next game. You better be confident. Lakers ain't losing the next game. So, game 2. They're putting jerseys.
Black Mamba jerseys Friday night.
Yeah, man. Poor coaching by Miami, sending Butler back out there late in the fourth. Looked to me he was hobbled even before he tweaked it. Again, yeah, I was questioning that move by Spoelstra as well, but Jimmy Butler gives me that blue collar hard hat kind of guy. He's gonna basically say I'm playing, like I'm getting back in there.
I think I didn't agree with the move either, but I understood that. I think Spoelstra would, like, they were in a run at that point, and I think they had cut it to like 15 or 17. And I think Spoelstra knew that they were still going to lose, but wanted to get Jimmy Butler in there to, save face, maybe lose by single digits instead of double digits, have something to go into to hold. I mean, I seriously, like, at this point, when you lose by that much, you're just looking for anything that you can grasp onto to highlight as positive going into the next game, so that way you're not completely deflated. And
True.
still, the thing that they have to hold on to is Kendrick Nunn's 15 points in 15 minutes, and the energy that Derrick Jones came in with. Other than that, there's nothing that I saw from the Miami Heat that proves to me that they can beat the Lakers 4 times out of 6 now.
Agreed. Absolutely agree. Basketball gods watching over our team. Jason Jeter. Nice to see Danny Green show up. Also love Dwight's big
Very
bounce
nice.
back second half after a horrible first. Realistically, it was over by the third. I would even say it was over kind of in the second. Once the Lakers start getting momentum, I just don't know what you do to supplement that or how you stop it. I think at that point it's the avalanche is coming basically.
Yeah, pretty much. It was pretty much over to begin the third quarter, in my opinion. Like,
Yep.
you felt like it was over. Like when LeBron did that reverse slam at the end of the half, it was like, oh damn. Like,
Like, yo, what?
okay, so that's what we're doing tonight. Okay, so it like
That's what we own.
yeah, and that's the energy for the rest of the series. And keep in mind, these guys are tired of the bubble. They want to get home.
Yes, as quickly as possible.
We could go home the champions by next Thursday.
Literally win the game on next Tuesday, and they're back in LA by next Thursday. Because
Friday,
they probably be like, put me on the plane.
No, we could be back home by Wednesday.
Yeah, because I'm thinking they want to get on that plane that night.
Game four is Tuesday. So I mean, I don't want to get too excited. I don't want to get too high.
I got you.
Obviously, not too low either. But I mean, it's just you don't see anything. Now, here's the reason why you play the game. You got to make adjustments. And Spoelstra, I have the utmost confidence that he's going to come back with adjustment after adjustment. But will he have the personnel to do so? Doesn't sound like it.
And this is the problem that I have with coaches who do short rotations, is that when you have to pull people into that rotation who aren't used to it, you're fiddling with so much stuff. You're trying to get their rhythm going. You're trying to figure out how do you fit them in. But like we saw, Nunn just kind of came in and kind of fit right back into his spot again. So I think he's pretty much set. Olynyk, I don't know what his job will be. The Solomon guy, I don't know what he's going to be doing. So we'll see. Karen Chaperon says yes to confirm. Sedano's did on Sedano. Amin did say that the Heat in 6, and apparently it ticked off a lot of people,
including myself.
Now here's a question, because obviously the Heat looked so dominant against the Celtics really in that last game. Are the Celtics that small? This is from Nabil Murday on Periscope. Heat looked long against the Celtics. So I guess the question is, if the Celtics would have played us, it almost would have been even worse due to the size to the size issue.
Yes. That's why I wanted the Celtics to win for 2 reasons. Number one, they're the Celtics, and number 2, I had the utmost confidence we would beat them even worse than the Heat. We're probably going to sweep the Heat or gentlemen sweep the Heat.
Hopefully.
I said it was going to be 5 or 6 either way once we went to the finals and punched our ticket on the last postgame show. I said 5 or 6 on the Heat or the Celtics. Doesn't matter. And this just proves to me that, the Lakers were they're just better.
Just better. Tim
Legler. Just wait for us to get a real third star, too. Tim Legler would say what?
If we get a third star, dog, I don't even want to talk. You can't talk to me if we get a third star. It's a wrap.
Like if we get a Bradley Beal or even a Victor Oladipo or just somebody else that's solid, that's going to give you a solid 20 points a game. Kuzma can do that, but just somebody that's just a little bit more solid, it's over.
It's a wrap. Tim Legler picked the Heat in 7. So that was something that Kesko Jr. said on Periscope.
Tim Bontemps picked the Heat in 6, I believe. I mean, there's a slew. Nick Friedel. I mean, the list goes on and on. Bill Simmons, Jackie McMullen. I mean, just hate. And it's all good. We laugh into the bank with this one.
There it is. From the Showtime Forum account, AD tied Elgin Baylor in 59 for third most points for a Laker in his finals debut. Shaq
only
had 43.
Behind...
Yeah, Shaq and Mikan. Mikan had 42. So Al Sanchez, I don't think the Heat have faced a defensive team like the Lakers. They're done. And that kind of goes to the narrative as well, because a lot of the conversation was about the Heat's defense, and you just didn't hear enough people talking about the Lakers defense. And I think because we don't have a necessary, you can look and go, oh, okay, well, this guy is known for defense outside of Caruso. KCP kind of, but he's really more known for his offensive prowess and things like that. So the Lakers kind of just do it by committee, and I think that's part of the reason why you saw LeBron get so upset when there was a missed switch when they were up by 17 with a few minutes left, is that they should be known from start to finish as a complete defensive team. And I think that's one thing that the Heat just haven't seen. And they saw that tonight. They saw it today. I don't know. And this is another great point. The zone defense that they were playing against us helps the Lakers more.
Trash.
Listen, if you have a chance, go back, because obviously we played them before in the season with a much different team. But if you go back and look at Lakers film room, he did an entire video about how the Lakers busted up the 2-3 zone. And Pete Zias. I don't think people understand what Anthony Davis does. And there were so many stupid comparisons, forgive me for saying that, between Bam and AD. I couldn't understand how people
You made Bam look like junior varsity.
I mean, there were points where Bam was pulling up from mid-range and nobody even tried to guard him.
No.
Anthony Davis is the best player at any of those positions.
Yeah, he's the best big man in the game. Like, he's better than Jokic. Like, at the 4 or the 5, it doesn't matter. Like, he's better than Embiid. He's better than Jokic. He's better than Gobert. He's better than Bam. Like, Anthony Davis is supplanting himself as a solidified top 5 player in the game. He already was a top 5 player in the game to me. But now that he's doing it on this stage, right, where there's nobody else playing, it's only him in the interviews.
True.
At every cutaway shot before you go to commercial, it's him saying it's over, or doing a dunk, or yelling in somebody's face, or blocking somebody's shot. Anthony Davis is just doing it on the national stage, and now he's going to be in other people's top 5 as well. And man, this just sets up for now. I'm like, I said when LeBron signed that we would win titles in years 2 and 3, but like the way it's looking right now, I can't believe it's actually probably like it's coming true right now, like right before our very eyes right now. So
it's happening. With that being said, D Million is saying on Periscope that LeBron really should be MVP, especially after the regular season snub.
Yeah,
I don't know how you feel about that, but yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not mad either way.
Yes, you know what? If you're gonna ask me specifically, who do I want to give it to? I'd want to give it to Bron for sure. But am I gonna be if 80 averages 33, 11, and 7 for the series and shoots 56% and 90% from the free throw line and 2 blocks, 1 steal, like that's what he's averaging.
Yeah,
and that's probably what he's gonna average. So. If he puts up those numbers, am I mad at him for getting it? Absolutely not. So either way, doesn't mean a thing if you don't got that ring. And you got to get it.
Got to get it. 3 more to go. Tamarino 13, our own Justin Stover on Twitch. What's up, guys? 3 more to go. Pumped for AD and Bron. More pumped for our role guys. Been thrown under the bus by media all year.
Yeah, and those guys played great. And those guys played great. You got to hear Mark Jackson, man, the Lakers bench just thoroughly outplaying the Heat bench. They don't have a bench. They play 7 guys consistently. The only reason why Olynyk was in the game was because Bam got hurt, and the only reason why none was in the game was because Dragic got hurt. They played 9 or 10 guys tonight. I don't even think Derek Jones would have gotten in the game if they weren't being blown out.
They played a 7-man rotation.
Yeah. You're going to get beat. When we have a better bench, when we have a better 2-man duo than you and a better bench, like you're gonna get beat. Yeah. I don't even know why. Like, we're gonna look back, just like how we beat the Sixers in 5 games and beat the Nets in 4 games. We're gonna look back and be like, man, the Heat didn't even stand a chance.
For real. Ray says, serious question. He said when we wrap up number 17, he put that in exclamation points. Who would you say deserves an apology the most, Rob, Jeannie, or Dwight? I'm gonna tell you right now, Dwight doesn't deserve an apology. He earned the criticism coming in. We have not. Once he showed himself to be true, we accepted him. But the way he left prior, he needed to prove himself just to get back to
Rob.
even with us.
It'll be
Rob,
Rob.
absolutely, absolutely. There was nobody who was thrown under the bus more than Rob over the last summer.
Yeah, and I have some choice words for him on the way out, or on the way of Magic going out. I wasn't too happy with, if it was true, but obviously I'm going to take Magic's word for it. He's not going to go on. I trust Magic isn't going to go on national television and tell a straight bold-faced lie to the American public.
Yeah.
So, if that's true, and which it likely was, then I didn't like the way Rob maybe went about, doing a couple of things that he did, but ultimately he made up for it, made the right decisions, was able to put the Lakers first before himself, and put the Lakers in a position to be able to set themselves up. Here's the thing. It's not just for this championship. It's more than just this championship. This is a dynasty that is in the making if the right moves are taken. And we have the flexibility to do so. Why? Because everybody's on 1 or 2 year deals with player options for the second deal or second year, and that's it. The only players we haven't signed on multiple year contracts is LeBron and Caruso at this point, I believe. Just past next year. So, and obviously that next player is going to be Anthony Davis once he signs his deal, in this next offseason. And then, maybe Kuz, maybe not. Maybe Kuz gets traded. You never know. But for chemistry's sake, I would bet that he's probably not. But we'll see.
From John Hollitter, the Lakers went on a 75-30 run in an NBA Finals game. I just don't know what you say to that. 75-30. This is random. No, I can't. That's not. Van Gundy said moving cities should be counted as championships. Yeah, we're not going to talk about Van Gundy. They were just literally talking about nothing.
I agree with that. It's the franchise, right? So if the Rams have, a Super Bowl appearance, like the franchise of the Rams has a Super Bowl appearance, regardless of if they were based in St. Louis or LA. Like the franchise itself has an appearance.
That's just when you run out of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing with the Lakers. I know that they have 5 in Minneapolis or however many it was, but still the franchise of the Lakers, whether they were Minneapolis or LA.
Purred. There it is. LeBron post game, we're not satisfied winning game 1. Now that's what you like to hear. Also, from LeBron, he says he cannot wait to get everybody together and get into the film room tomorrow. He says we can be so much better, and that is a scary thought. That they can be so much better. This is your leader talking. This, once again, man, I just kind of go back to this narrative, and this is why Laker fans were so upset about some of the narrative about the Lakers, is that they kept talking about how old LeBron was when he obviously showed no signs of slowing down with his play. And then they started talking about how we mortgaged the future for Lonzo and Ingram and Harden. Obviously, we love those guys. They gave us some hope in a couple of those seasons. Obviously, not winning seasons, but we still got Anthony Davis. And so it just feels like all of these narratives that were obvious. Any GM in the world would give up 3 or 4 people. Think about this. Think about what the Clippers gave up for Paul George. Right? Think about what they gave up for Paul George. And then think about what we gave up for AD. Who came out on top?
The Lakers. And I just love how we didn't hear anything about Paul George, but somehow, like, that's the thing. It's like, oh, man. They know that we're good. They being the people that, say the negative things about the Lakers. Like, they know we're good. They just don't want us to be good. So anything that they can, take away from us is, oh, man, this Lakers champion. They want Goran Dragic or somebody to get hurt so that way they can say, oh, look, somebody got hurt. Just give it to them. Like, I'll take it either way. I don't care.
Don't matter. Mark Stein, this is I'm just kind of going through some of the stuff there as they're interviewing LeBron. LeBron tells the story of the Heat losing a fall from ahead game 2 to Dallas in the 2011 finals. He said that crap burns him to this day. That's what I like to hear. He ain't forgotten.
Never let it happen again. So that way when we get up in this next game, we know what we're going to do. Like, we have so much work to do. The job is not done. We're not satisfied with winning one game. It's that simple. Absolutely. And this Lakers team resembles the 2010 teams in terms
of mental toughness. In that 2010 team, I think people forget how much Kobe had to kind of pound those guys to get the mentality. We obviously saw the emergence of Powell, and we talked about that. We talked about that a couple of shows ago. Just the idea of what it takes. Now, what separates us from the 2010 team and any other Laker championship prior is that you're talking about the longest season that's ever happened in NBA history, a pandemic, social injustice, the death of Kobe, and you've played the entire playoffs without home court advantage in a random place in a bubble. There's just no other circumstance that we'll probably ever see that has happened the way it's happened. And the Lakers are doing it, and they're not just surviving, they are conquering the bubble. Gentlemen sweep up until this point, dominant
13
win.
13 and 3.
13 and 3. 13 and 3 with the 13th win being one of the most dominant wins of the entire playoffs, and you did it in the finals. So I think this is what we have to start preparing ourselves for, is that what we're watching, you'll probably never see it again. You're going to see championships again. You're going to see great play again. But the circumstances, what's on the line, what it means.
It's the hardest one ever.
Yeah, absolutely. Oops, I had the Nuggets up there the entire time. Who do you think? Yeah, so we already talked about that. That the MVP for Game 1, we are saying as of right now, it's showing as Anthony Davis. But we don't know what's going to happen. I mean, you have a two-man punch. Here's my question. AD is going to give you something. LeBron's going to give you his normal LeBron stuff. Who are you looking for in Game 2 to be the third person that steps up? Who's going to be the guy that sticks out to you in this next game?
Probably Rondo or Kuz.
Oh, yeah.
Probably Rondo or Kuz. I'm still waiting for Kuz to really catch a rhythm and give me 20+ points.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting on it. It's gonna happen. I don't know what game is gonna happen, but I'm gonna say either Rondo or Kuz. Rondo had a good game as well, but I would say one of those two guys is gonna give us be that third guy to give us that big performance that's gonna be needed to get us over the hump.
Carrying us over. I cannot wait, man. This watching Game 2 for me is gonna be more exciting than Game 1, because what I'm looking to see is how do they adjust. How do they get better? How do the Heat adjust? Because I think after you get past Game 2, everything beyond that, you've kind of made your adjustments for the most part. You've seen what they're going to throw at you, and at that point, there really is no more surprises unless there's like some kind of freak injury or something crazy like that. But like we saw today, obviously, Kendrick Nunn gets in. That was not anticipated at any given point. So yeah,
I'm right after Game 2, like you said.
Yeah,
Game 2, like that's when you're going to see Hellfire and Stone coming back from the Miami Heat. They're going to throw everything at us that they possibly can.
D Million says KCP is the third option. Yeah, KCP, he seems to come. Him and Danny Green seem to give us what we need at certain points, right?
Yeah.
KCP obviously in the first half doing what he did to get us out of that hole. And then Danny Green was just kind of just in certain spots, man, hitting threes, getting a block in the first quarter. Doing stuff like that. So I think you're going to kind of see both of those. Here's a question from Al Sanchez. Can we have co-MVPs like Kobe and Shaq in the All-Star game?
I don't think co-MVPs have ever been done in the finals by two teammates. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Technically, I guess you can, but
I don't know how you would justify it. That would be my thing. I just don't know how you would justify it.
Yeah, there's no. Actually, I don't know how Finals MVP works. It's always pretty obvious, right? Yeah. Or do they actually vote? Like, do writers vote? I don't know exactly how that works, but could have co-MVPs, but I would say it's going to go to either LeBron or Anthony Davis. Probably LeBron. And because I think the biggest thing that we're seeing from Anthony Davis is that his offensive game is unlocked because LeBron really is on the floor. He's able to do what he's able to do. Yeah, it's not a coincidence that LeBron gets 80 on his team and he has the highest assist average that he's had in his career, right? Because who's giving AD the ball? Who's feeding AD? Who's orchestrating the offense that gets AD into perfect position? If we notice, there were some things tonight that I know we're almost done, but I want to just get your thoughts on. LeBron is so good at orchestrating the right pick, right? So he went pick hunting today, and he got the switches on to Tyler Hero and just kind of proved what it meant to be a man tonight. And I just don't know, for me, I don't know anybody else in the NBA who can orchestrate picks and pick their play the way they want to do it
like LeBron. And I don't know how you would. Can the Heat adjust to that? Is there a way to prevent him pick hunting the way he did?
Not unless you sit Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson. Like those guys are going to go off for a game too. So just be ready. Those guys are going to hit pretty much everything in one game or another. But no, like unless you sit those guys, you're going to hunt Duncan Robinson all series long. We're going to take advantage of that all series long. Him
Yeah,
and Tyler Hero.
yeah. Robinson played 27 minutes and had 0 points. He was 0 of 3 from the field. So
Ooh,
that's
that
crazy.
won't happen again.
No, that won't.
That won't
Yeah, I anticipate him at least hitting 2 threes. But what I do anticipate is this: I don't know how they're going to adjust the lineup, so that's going to be a bigger thing to me. Obviously, none will probably go in for Goran, but I think you're going to see Hero played 30 minutes tonight. Hero is essentially the East Coast Lou Williams,
Right.
right?
Exactly. That plays a little bit of defense, like not much, right? Like he's still a rookie at the end of the day.
So can you keep him on the floor knowing that he's going to be a defensive liability in the end?
Who else you got? No. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So based off of that, I mean, you got nobody else that you can put in that's going to give you the same level of production, at least offensively, that he can, even if he is a defensive liability. So
True.
the great part about our wings is that like we help each other. So wherever Caruso doesn't do, KCP and Danny Green can help out and make more shots. You know, whenever KCP gets beat, Caruso's there to step up and help him. We're a true team, and that's what makes us the best team in the bubble for the season, in the finals, and moving forward. Just give us the damn trophy.
Let's get it over with, man. Listen, I'm excited, man. Hero was a negative 35. I don't think you can even look at the Heat's plus minus, given how bad they got beat today.
No, I don't anticipate them shooting the way that they did in the second half or playing as bad as they did. But
no.
I do anticipate the Lakers keeping their foot on the gas and pummeling through this team and getting 3 more wins. That's what I do anticipate.
Absolutely. Okay, so now it's that time, brother. It's that time. Obviously, you've been on. You haven't missed yet. It is time for our Trust the Prophet segment. What should we look for? Give us the outlook, not just for the rest of the game, but what should we be looking for in regards to the Miami Heat, for the Lakers? What should we expect when we turn on the TV on Friday night?
Damn, my bad, y'all. When you take a look at the next game, look at the energy that the Lakers come out with to start the game as they didn't in this first game tonight, right? Mm-hmm. So just take a look at that, and also take a look at the adjustments that Spoelstra makes on the defensive end. So I don't think he can go to that zone too much more, and he's going to have different matchups and also look to see who he starts. That's it. There's not a whole lot that you can do. Like you can come up with all the schemes and all the X's and O's in the world. If you don't have the personnel to execute what you're looking to do, and you have a short rotation, you're limited. And again, for the last time, and this is probably the third time I said it, I saw nothing from the Miami Heat, personnel-wise, maybe not scheme-wise, but personnel-wise, I saw nothing from the Miami Heat that proves to me that they can beat us 4 out of the next 6. Like I said, just give us the trophy.
Agreed. I think it's a wrap. I'm in agreement with you. I think what we saw tonight was far more about the Lakers than it was about injuries for the Heat.
Right.
I think Riley and Spoelstra, obviously, like you said, are going to do what they need to do to have this team as prepared as possible. They have been, to be honest, this is kind of par for the course for them because they love adversity. It's kind of the thing that gets them going. And they're going to have 2 days of hearing people on TV talk about how this is already over, and that's going to get them going. But I think the Lakers are prepared for it. I think Caruso is going to play a better game, even though he did pretty well tonight. I think he's going to have a better game. I think KCP is going to continue to go.
Kuz as well.
Kuz as well. I think Kuz is going to keep going. I think you're going to see Danny Green get even better. I think tonight, watching him get hit in the mouth, and he didn't want to come out with 2 fouls and saying, like, I want to get back in that game. He was trying to get Vogel to run that replay. That's the kind of
run it back,
because I think he knows in his mind this is where he makes his $15 million. Now, whether or not he hits 35 threes or only hits 2 threes, that doesn't make me any difference. I just want to see the aggressive Danny Green on defense, hitting the shots that he needs to hit on offense as well. Somebody put into the comments that Crowder should be fined for what he did for LeBron. I don't even know if it's going to be reviewable for any of those
just
reasons.
dirty.
It's
He got it back. You do something, it always comes back to you. You lost. That's it. You got it back.
Yeah, now I will tell you this. LeBron's going to remember it, and he's going to do whatever he needs to do to remind those people who he is.
He has some. Mark Spears said he has some choice words for him, too.
As he should have. As he should have. Not in the finals, game 1. You don't do that. So, in any case, that's it for tonight, man. I know you have some things you're going to do tonight and get some food. I'm gonna do some reflection as I go back. I wish this was a TNT night. I need to really hear Shaq and Kenny and Charles. I just need to hear it. But obviously they're not on for this series. So in any case, you guys enjoy this win. We are back on Friday night. Remember, the final schedule is every other night. So as of right now, Friday, Sunday, and Tuesday. And hopefully, if everything goes our way, we could be looking at Tuesday as the last win of the... There it is. The last win. And then I'll officially book my ticket on Southwest to come back to LA for whatever they plan on doing. But I know I'm going to be in the building for whatever they do. So,
yes, sir.
With that said, go ahead and give us the shots out, man. What do we need to know? What's coming up? You guys just did a podcast, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. So check out Showtime Forum Podcast, previewing the series. Obviously, you'll get to hear my takes in depth on why I think that the Lakers were going to have an easier time this series than others. And get your merch. This goat tee that I'm wearing, made by Javi, goldengfx.com. I'm sorry, my bad. Odell made this. Can't beat LA. He made this shirt. Sorry, not Javi. Javi has some do it for Kobe tees, as well as some Mamba merchandise as well. And this Can't Beat LA hat as well. Go to LA.
How? There it is. He's back.
And follow me on Twitter as well, at Chaz Pearson, and on Instagram at Chaz_Gerard as well.
Boop, boop. All right, guys, we appreciate it. We'll see you guys Friday night for hopefully Game 2 victory. How many more we got to go?
3 more.
3 more to go.
3 more.
And then there it is. And once again, you can't beat us. Can't beat LA. It's a wrap. We got it going. We'll set you guys on the next